Burrows' childhood friends, siblings Clamp and Bianca, have completed work on the prototype of a new ballista, advertised to be more accurate and easier to use models compared to the existing ones in the variant army. General Corona sees some promise in this new weapon and immediately orders top secret field testing. Clamp sets off with the Sinnoh Knights with many prototypes in tow. Since this is a top secret mission, there couldn't possibly be any trouble waiting for us at the test site. Right? So begins Chapter 10-2, Scorpion's Sting. Objective: protect Clamp for 12 turns or rout all enemies. Turns out someone ratted us out, and now the Empire's strongest mounted archery division is onto us. On the other hand, that also makes them the perfect targets for some live fire testing. Our army is surrounded by a ring of allied ballistas with Overwatch active, primed to rain death on anyone who dares to approach from all angles. Unfortunately, the enemies will also be swarming at us from all angles. Prepare for a chaotic bloodbath. For this map, Burrows is force deployed, and we also need to bring Esteban, especially if he is recruited. Sophie and Luvina are on this map, and Esteban must make his way to Sophie and speak with her. The way there isn't too difficult, since there is a clear path through the forests that can conceal Esteban the entire way there. After he speaks to Sophie, both of them will leave the map, but doing so will secure his personal ending and get you one of the strongest bows in the game. Meanwhile, Burrows is part of our friendly ballista circle, and he should try to speak with Clamp as fast as possible to get a prototype Scorpio for himself. The Scorpio ballista gives him the ability to overwatch, helping you with your defensive ring. Almost every enemy on this map is a horse archer, which means they will relentlessly ride in to assault your ballistas. While most of them will be stopped cold by the overwatch shots, those that slip through can inflict meaningful damage to our setup. It is up to us to cover them. The number of reinforcements on this map is slightly absurd. A total of 36 enemy reinforcements will appear between turns 2 to 7. These reinforcements only come from 4 possible angles: the top left where Sophie and Luvina are, the western approach, the southern approach, and the upward eastern approach. Speaking back on the point where almost every enemy on this map is a horse archer, the sole exception to this rule comes in on turn 4. The Black Rider will appear on the western entrance alongside a group of horse archers. With 41 HP and a massive shield, the Rider will pose a massive threat to our defensive line, but even he is not immune to the ballista fire. Funnily enough, with his shield up, a ballista shot will do exactly 1 damage to him, just barely enough to count as stopping his advance if he were to charge forward. Make sure to focus him down as fast as possible. The consequences for letting him through is horrifying given his damage output against your ballistas. After the Black Rider falls, continue holding the line. Reinforcements will exhaust on turn 7, at which point you will be asked to keep Clamp safe until the end of turn 12. Alternatively, the map can be cleared early by routing. If you're on top of keeping the enemies controlled, routing should not be too difficult, especially since the ballistas will help you pin down many mobile enemies. Ballistas aren't infallible though, and it's very likely the enemies have gotten a few shots off on your defense, and maybe have even taken a few down by now. There's no need to stress over this. Other than Burrows, losing the other members in the ballista ring won't penalize us, but obviously losing too many invites disaster as the potential to be overwhelmed increases. The danger of failing the map is actually quite small, since the enemies will be very insistent on dismantling every ballista first before actually damaging Clamp. Finally, it's worth mentioning that routing the map requires taking care of Sophie and Luvina. As mentioned before, Sophie can and should be taken off the map peacefully with Esteban. Luvina is armed with a single bronze sword, and notably, you cannot damage her. Any unit that moves adjacent to her may capture Luvina for free. Capturing Luvina, and by extension clearing the map via route, is entirely optional. The only bonus requirement is to speak to Sophie with Esteban, and you'll be given the bonus reward of the Pascanian. All in all, this is a surprisingly hectic map despite the defensive setup provided to us. Once we dusted ourselves off, we can now progress and get ready for the next chapter. See you soon.